point or another. So let's see, and this is an example of a very, well, first of all, do you have any questions and comments until now? If not,
everything clear.
If not, probably some things will pop up in the decision-making process when you will have a hands-on exercise on dealing with your own material. So now I'm just showing you a very extreme example of what you can have yes. You can have textual fragments, and you can have as you saw yesterday, all the edited text of your monument lives in div type edition, but inside div type edition you could have div type text parts, and you can divide your text in as many text parts as you wish. Sometimes, yeah, as we showed you earlier, as Elena showed you, you have the monument referenced now in your program. You can put the different parts in your text in different AB blocks, which stand for anonymous block, but the most clear-cut way to do it is if you do subdivisions in different div type text part. And the text parts can also have subtypes. So you can really divide and subdivide your textual divisions. And there are some fragments here which are encompassed in anonymous blocks with line breaks which read only one line, and there are some textual fragments which are non-comprehensible and beyond any sort of interpretation. This is why they are encoded with the help of the orig tag, which stands for original. This is what stands in the original text. We can do nothing with it more. And you also may want to put numbers in your fragments. The numbers, the attribute, the value of the attribute n can be either Arabic numbers, Arabic digits, or Roman numerals, or as even in this case, small letters representing Roman numerals.
Just a quick note, it can be text as well.
Yeah, it can
If you
be
want
text
it,
as well.
if you want to have it displayed,
yes.
Here in the example that I showed you before, the different text parts were defined as above the fragment, above the relief, and below the relief.
Yes, yes. So you can have here whatever you want.
If you want to visualize them, it's probably better to give them a human readable name, not something too abstract.
Yes, here we have two columns which have several fragments in it. So you have one text which is spans in between two columns which are numbered column A and column B. And fragment 1 and 2 are in from column A, and from column B we have fragment 1, 2, and 3. You can do this with nested subdivisions. Div type text part subtype column number A. This is column A. And you can have div type text. This is one of the recursive elements that you have, such as provenance type found or provenance type observed. Rather, you can have text parts, div type text parts within div type text parts. And provided that you give different names of the subtypes and different numbers of the subtypes, this should be no problem. So in column A, you have section number 1 and number 2. And in column B, you have section number 1, 2, and 3. And here you put also the text then of each fragment of each section. This is the most more complicated example when you supposedly have three columns, but you have fragments of columnar text which span across columns. And here again, you can do this, you can achieve this with types and subtypes, provided that you give a particular number of these. If this fragment, which is the Roman numeral 1, belongs to column A and partially to column B, you put this into subtype column A and also into subtype column B. While the second one, which belongs only to subtype column A, is present only here. I don't know if you're able to follow, but if you will have your presentation link and you can switch between this visualization of what's taking place and this encoding. Here we have fragment number 1 in both sides, and fragment number 2 only here in column A because it exists only here, and 3 we have in column B and column C because it spans between them. And then you can double with the visualization in such a way as to connect properly the part of fragment 1 which is connected in column A with the part of fragment 1 which is connected with column B, and in respectively the part of fragment 3 which is connected in column B and the one which is contained in column C. But this is a job of the visualization scenario. You only need to indicate with elements and sub-elements where exactly do you want this to be nested. But I hope that you will not deal with such complex examples pretty early in your encoding practice. Columns in fragmentary text. You have here again one fragment which contains elements of both column A and B, second fragment which contains elements in almost only column A, and a third fragment which contains elements in columns B and C. So what we do, we switch the daughter and the parent element, and you say, well, the first text part is the fragment, and it contains fragments from columns A and B. The fragment 2 contains elements only from column A, and the fragment 3, as we can see, contains elements of columns B and C. Okay. And some text parts which are non-contained within each other. Then, in this case, which is really, really complex, inside the lines of the inscriptions itself, so here you have some inscription in, let's say, 10 lines. You can put milestones, which would refer to the separate blocks of your inscription, if you believe that this is the case. And hopefully, if you make the visualization scenario, it will put the numbering of these milestones like this. But this is really the most complicated case that one will basically encounter in fragmented text, but I hope I have given you at least the idea that no matter how fragmented a text is and what divisions and subdivisions you need to do within it, there's always a way to formalize this, provided that you're consistent and that you make sure that all of your divisions and their respective subdivisions are nested in each other, even if they span across different sections of the text, it is the identification, the numbering with letters or with numbers or with some text indicating what fragment exactly is this, that will later help the visualization scenario to stick these different fragments and these different parts together.